Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, all right. Just been looking at Twitter.
It's a dangerous.
Yeah. A never-ending stream of factoids and links and useful information.
Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Good morning, afternoon, evening.
Afternoon. I guess good evening to you.
Great.
So close on this new website.
Yeah. Can we give a sneak peek or not yet?
Sure. Right, do you
I'll let you think about it. I was just looking at Alistair's thing because I was looking at Twitter, and then I was looking at Alistair's Meetup 18 processing report.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a couple of blocks in there that I can't see.
Yeah, I direct messaged him.
Great. They're in different projects, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we need some sort of warning on the actual block saying that it's
in a public project, but it may not be visible because
exactly. Or just that this is in a different project. And ideally at some point that comes with like a fork choice.
Yeah.
So that you can pull the information in.
So that block exists but has no published version.
Correct. Yeah.
If it had a published version anywhere in its history, that would be getting shown at the moment, would it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And publishing something doesn't warn you that I'm not sure actually if this project is private or public, but it doesn't warn you that it can't publish things that are like not in the project, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's definitely why some of this stuff fails.
Yeah,
which is it's not fantastic.
There's more UX just to that people would know what's going on with the whole, permissions model, etc.
It definitely needs some improvements in the UX there. Getting closer though. Getting closer.
Yeah. Cool. Did you want to show us some website?
Yeah, sure.
Let me maybe ghost.
Don't know when. Liz, have you seen this recently?
I don't think I've seen it since it was just, like a template kind of thing. Like, here's the new colors and the look.
Right. That's cool. So I haven't done anything on the front page yet. So that's probably exactly the same as what it looked like previously. But it will have links to these two pieces of For Writing and For Jupyter. So in our current one, we only have the For Jupyter thing. And so For Writing is now first. And I don't know, I definitely want feedback on content at some point. I think it's getting pretty close to that point. And then, ideally just something that shows an overview of how Curvenote works. So wanting to have multiple people editing in here, having some nice content on the side, and then some comments coming in as it goes, and equation and citation and that sort of thing. And just sort of showing basically everything that Curvenote can do in 50 seconds or so. So that's to be done, but something that's sort of close to that and shows that you can just start writing. And then on this side of things, I was planning just to like orient people on what this is for. Because I think that was some of the questions that I've had before is like, and I think hopefully this video satisfies some of that. A few quotes, and then this idea of actually showing the templates of like how you get your stuff out. And so I think a lot of people that we're sort of finding is like retweeting Volcanica and Earth Archive is that's what people are like aiming to do. And so showing them the end product right away was my goal with this. And so that sort of scrolls while you're in a parallax effect as you're going. And then I'm going to make this go to, and I just did this. That's not a great one. Go to this sort of landing page for, for like various templates, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so this information, Steve, is coming directly now from the templates GitHub repos. We're just scraping that and throwing it in here, including the tags. And so these tags can actually start. I was just getting through to actually having these start being used, and then we
scraped.
Sorry.
When does the scrape happen?
Currently, just on like when we execute the script on my local computer.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I have some other things that I want to talk to you on about. About when to do that and how and stuff.
When we go back to the main page, though, that strip of templates won't all be the same.
No.
That's going to be the same paper in different templates.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or I suppose.
Do we have a paper? A favorite paper to do in there?
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, like what is relatively easy and what I was just doing here is I can get this sort of list, but this isn't. It's not quite the same, is it?
No. Imagine if we had if we had one where we managed to get on the front page a figure, some citations and an abstract, and do you know what I mean? And then see that content vary.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
So I might need some help with that. And also creating these images. I need a thumbnail image, and like that's small, not this large one, and we should be doing that for our site as well, is having the two different sizes so that you're not having a massive image coming over the wire.
Yeah.
I was just looking at your backend code to do that. Anyways, so that's coming along. So this
we can do that on push when we push stuff up to the new repo.
Yeah.
As in the action could generate a thumbnail and a page, like first page.png and thumbnail.png. Of different sizes.
Yep. That would be good. Yeah, because ideally, well, it would be nice if we could have example content created in a bunch of these templates so that we can do it sort of programmatically rather than like me taking screenshots of them. Anyhow. So that's, so some template stuff. And then I was having these 3 call outs here of, and maybe Liz, I'd like your feedback on if this is, if we're hitting the right notes here. Citations. some math drop-in editor stuff, and then something that talks to versioning and collaboration.
Do you want those two separate?
What do you mean? Which two?
Versioning and collaboration.
Yeah, I could do.
I just guess when like we get more tools and whatnot for like commenting in line and different things like that, it might be more stuff
Yeah.
to talk about, especially like, yeah, notifications, all that. And then versioning is big on its own.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, like when we get to it, showing inline comments, also showing cursors and presence when we get there. I think that's going to be probably another like front page thing.
Yeah, so definitely having, I was like, I love the title of LaTeX when you need it.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Only when you need it. Yeah. And then having a couple call outs here. This was some of sort of being able to show an interactive chart and some collaboration, and then having these references hover over stuff, showing figures and that sort of thing. And then some of Alistair's content, actually. And I'll ask him on Friday if we can show something like this. And then the last piece on this page is a call out to connecting to Jupyter. And then this links over to that page.
Yeah.
And then that page is following a similar style to what we already have out there, with these tabs showing a few zoom ins of those figures, and then 1, 2, 3 with a call to action being the install now.
Is there another call to action at the bottom of this page?
Yeah, on all of those pages as well. Yeah, and then the blog, which will have, I think, actually directly on the site, and so that's basically bringing over the Curvenote content there. And then this has the ability to have series in it now, so similar to, oh shoot, that doesn't work. But that link will just hit to the next one. Series. And then it's also listed below currently. Yeah, I think that's, and then the Y page, a little bit of a statement on overview, and then mission, and then our team as well, which is exciting.
I like Yushi's picture.
Yeah, asked Yushi for a new picture that actually shows his face.
Working on it.
I priority. Any thoughts on any of this, or?
I mean, it seems pretty good. I feel like we've been going through pretty quick. I guess I'm wondering if there should be, if you scroll down a bit, if there should be something a little bit similar to this section in the
Jupyter.
on the Jupyter side, just that actually highlights this stuff. And then you can still have examples of them, kind of more on like a full page like you have at the bottom. But I think just kind of pulling it out this way to really show like the diffs and the versioning of the code, and especially like versioning the outputs, because just talking with folks, at least with Joe, who's just like, that's like one of the biggest downfalls of Git is that you have those issues with the notebooks. So kind of pulling out some of those features that it's kind of like, okay, why do I really want to come here? Oh, that's a good one. So I feel like putting a parallel to this. Oh, okay, I guess Joe's joining us.
Hey, Joe.
Hi.
Your ears are burning or something.
Well, you've been wandering the room for the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, I think because this definitely just shows the stuff and really highlights the benefits. So.
So like pain points that we're solving.
I might send this. I think it's almost in a place where like a review is going to be helpful for me, and that includes like all of the text and some of the like there's something missing here, and so I think I'd like to get you involved in that, Liz, to sort of show that off.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because it's going to be pretty hard to give feedback in my random 30-second scroll through. And I'm completely blind to all of this now. I've been staring at this website for a week and a half at least. It's coming. It's coming.
So I'm wondering if it'd be good too to have the blog kind of how it is on the page. Like I definitely like that, but I'm wondering if we keep like some of the bigger ones up there or the more recent ones, and then kind of have like a like you can visit them all also on Curvenote, so we're not awkwardly not using Curvenote as a blog. So like leaving them up here, but also kind of having like the background of some of them there, like once there's more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a little weird.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
some
'cause we
feedback,
do-
Joe. What did you think, Joe? Joe noticed something.
What are you laughing at? What's
Oh, I was
going
just
on?
like, oh, look, there's one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just laughing at pictures.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sort of need the blog for the SEO stuff. Fast loading, easy to write. Shorter snippets and stuff.
Yeah, I think there's still a few benefits of having this embedded over in this world.
Oh, no. That's, I mean, like, I think keep them here, but I'm just saying like some of them, or maybe some stuff, like you can also have it viewed on Curvenote or something like that.
Yeah.
Just because it just seems a little odd to be like, we're not going to use our own stuff to post it. So it's like, I think this looks really nice and actually really like it here. I'm just wondering if it's also over there, just to, if people are maybe in something else already on Curvenote, they can click over to it.
Yeah.
Harm in that.
I guess yeah. Depends what some of the blogs are as well. Because some stuff is about interactive stuff and stuff like that, then it's natural to link back.
Yeah.
To bits of other projects and stuff.
Yeah, I think this will be a bit of a evolving target, whether it's over here or over in Curvenote. And I've already had some challenges in like this duplication of content all over the place. But that's fine. Sweet.
It's getting close.
It's getting close. It's getting close. Another couple days, and then I think it's almost there.
I definitely think it's an improvement, and it looks, I don't know, it feels more, not to like bash on the old website or whatever, it's definitely feels more like professional and something that I'm like, I could pay for this. So I don't know. It's fancy. I like it.
That
That's
is
not
the-
me trying. I don't know. I sound lame,
big-
but I'm like
the
this one
big
gives me better
goal.
feels.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I think it's also in an easier place to actually improve it as well.
Yeah.
And edit it over time. Which is good.
So Webflow beats WordPress is the verdict.
I mean, yes and no. I should write it up sometime. But it's like a really interesting. I think it doesn't beat it for a blogging tool, and there's all sorts of stuff that actually sucks about the CMS piece, but for design and actually being able to edit things and the look and feel and having something custom that's looks more professional, I think Webflow is way better or way easier entry point than the customization for WordPress.
Yeah. WordPress customization is horrible. PHP scripts and junky everything. Yeah,
it's a very coding heavy, even to do very like relatively simple things. Like I don't know, on this page I wanted to add a Curvenote icon,
social icon. Yeah,
a social
be
icon
everywhere.
that's custom, and that's something that's pretty prohibitive in WordPress until you're like diving into an HTML script and PHP and figuring out somebody else's theme and adding something in. Just here it takes about 30 seconds. Cool. Awesome. Anyways, and then there's all sorts of pieces that make these things like responsive as well, and that I think actually is one of the big things about Webflow is that you can have all of these being able to design for multiple widths of a screen at the same time.
Nice.
Which is pretty slick. Sweet. Yeah, that's me. How are things going in your world, Joe?
Well, they're going fine. Gonna start putting together like a pure discretized paper now with like all the additions and stuff. And I'd love to like just do everything with it in Curvenote. Like as far like like come up with examples, take the figures from like the example notebooks, and then use them for the like directly in a report. Like that'd be great. Not sure where you guys are at on that part yet, but it's like I'd love to be able to do it like all in Curvenote.
Me too, man.
Right.
Is there a second discretized paper or a first discretized paper?
I mean,
Did
like
you
the
say
kind
a
of like
third
the
one?
original SimPeg paper is kind of like an introduction to discretize almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like kind of like it's got like the fundamental basis of it in there, but just gonna go through more and like go into more depth on like the tree mesh stuff, and then
Yeah.
show like just parallel examples using all the meshes at the same time.
Yeah.
Things like that.
That's super cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to do it all in there already. I mean, is there any features that you're missing? Or
I guess it would be your captioning of like when you pull in the images from Jupyter.
Mhm.
I think it's that reference and captioning those. What else?
That's
is
so
there?
close. We'll have that soon.
Stop
Soon.
working on this website.
As soon as Ruin's finished the website, actually, that could be up next.
I'm like, oh, I wasn't able to do that with anything yet. Like just like making like a full-fledged figure in a report from a link to like the output of a Jupyter cell, I guess. Right.
Yeah, feels like everything else in the paper should be there.
Yeah,
Do you know?
tables. Not the tables are gonna come. I don't imagine I'm gonna be using tables, but
Table.
What are your tables? What are in your tables? Is it like
Yeah.
definitions or data?
Do you have tables?
I don't know. I haven't put it together yet. I was just thinking like I might use a table for something. I don't.
They're the
Table-
two big things on our list, Joe. They're just like they're next. Is tables, and we've had these post-its edging their way along for the last 2 months, and they're almost there. So it's great to hear that's what you need.
Once I start getting closer, I'll start bugging you guys more about it.
Yeah, I love that.
Did you figure out
That's
where,
cool.
or do you have options of where to submit it?
Nothing really set in stone yet. Like probably like, as a first pass, maybe like computers and geosciences. That's probably about as far as I've explored just so far. Like the hope is that we get it out a little bit more than just the geoscience community. It's like we're gonna have like a nice. I have a play model with a brain scan,
Hmm.
and so we're gonna show simulating like electric fields on the brain.
That's pretty
It's
sick.
really neat. Like it was just kind of. I had like a front tree mesh model with it too, and
So the properties of the model in the model is resistivity of the brain. Yeah, wow. Yeah, cool.
That's fun. Yeah, it's fun chatting to you and you like surfacing discretized bugs back to me of like that are like 4 years old of like, did you actually fix this when you did it?
I was just like double check because like I'm now getting a lot more familiar with how the curvilinear mesh is like actually implemented.
Yeah.
Like going through it like with the tetrahedral stuff, I'm like, oh, it's actually like pretty the same. Like everything like just handles the same. I mean, it's a little bit more defined because everything is a triangle and things are defined well with 3 points,
They are.
as opposed to 4 abstract points do not form a plane.
Yes, I know.
It can be concave, like all weirdly shaped, whereas it's pretty hard to do that with triangles. Yeah, that's awesome. How are the Simpeg meeting notes going?
They're fine. Like they seem to work pretty well. The only thing I wish there was a way to like organize them by month, maybe. Like I'm not.
Automatically, just
Like, can we like? I haven't played around with it too much just yet, but like the right now there's just like one project with all the meeting notes, right? Like it's just all listed in whatever order we sent. Like, is there like subfolders yet? Or like
you
We
could.
don't have subfolders without an article to start with, which is
So you can, yeah. I mean, you know that already. You can create an article and then stash stuff underneath.
yeah.
It's a bit laborious to drag them all in there too.
That's the only thing that would kind of help with just those notes. Like I guess I could put it in articles like, okay, these are the August notes. These are the
Yeah. But if it was just an item on the menu, that maybe generated its own table of contents. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's my only thing about like it works just fine. Like people are seeming to be figuring it out pretty quickly and they're using it still.
Cool.
that's great. Are you bringing any like notebook content in there recently, or?
Like we try to link to some stuff. People will copy in images so far. Like they haven't really been linking in content yet.
Someone at least linked to another article
Yeah,
that pops up as that. I'm just like scrolling through them.
yeah, definitely been like article links and stuff.
That's cool. Awesome. Are you using the notebook extension?
Yeah,
in
that's
your work?
great. Like I I've been using that most like my own stuff. At least versioning it helps definitely with that.
Are you using it over GitHub?
Yeah, I
that
just
side?
don't like keeping notebooks on GitHub. Like it's just weird. I don't like, cause it's just hard to immediately see what changed between cells.
You're saying the outputs too, right?
Yeah, and like
Don't
the
really-
especially the outputs too, right? Like that's really hard to see what changed between them.
Yep.
Um,
Are you mostly like working by yourself for those, or do you have?
Mostly just my own stuff right now. Like every once in a while I'll share something. I do wish it'd be like, okay, if I really want, I wish it was just like, oh, one click share notebook button or something. It just make it easy to share like a single notebook. Sometimes you don't want someone that like to have create a whole project just for one notebook to share with someone. So I started doing like an unfiled notebooks thing that'll just put random stuff in there and then sending it out to people.
But that basically is stuff that doesn't have a nav on the side. It's just like that one thing.
Yeah. Like they're not meant to be part of projects. They're just like, oh, I'd like to share this notebook.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Super cool. Thanks for showing up.
Anyone else attend this meeting?
I think they did. I don't think there's like multiple versions. I think. I don't know what happened with that one.
I was just flipping back through the notes, and I guess May 19th, it was just Joe at the meeting for Simpeg by
Kevin was
himself.
there too.
So
Or is there a draft?
maybe.
Because we thought that was happening sometimes, that maybe where, yeah, is that what you meant by multiple versions and it hasn't been published maybe? Or that even on public projects, people were drafting, especially with meeting notes, but then not hitting save version. So you end up with this old version, empty version
Yeah, that would make
with
sense.
only Joe in the meeting. Yeah.
That's when it's just like, this is kind of sad. Or at least, anyway. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I think we need a better handle on that side of things for public projects and just our publishing model, I guess. Because yeah, the latest version, I don't think, which I guess you guys just had this like a few minutes ago. August 11th, August 18th.
Like it's usually okay. Did I not push anything?
Mm-mm. So yeah, that's, I was like, 'cause I'm not in
Oh.
I'm not in the group.
Gotcha. Like it's
So
like-
yeah, it's not there. See, I wonder, did you already close it? No, you don't
I
have
don't
to
know.
check.
I
I
can
guess
go
I'm
get
just
it right now.
wondering then, like, what would make it so, okay. It's gonna go find out. Very good. No, I'm just trying to figure out, like, what would it be like before you close a tab, that it just has a little pop-up that, you know.
Yeah, it's because like it just sort of defaults you into edit mode if you have that permission,
Yeah,
and then it doesn't really prompt you to save it.
Have you got it up on the screen, Ron?
I
You want to share it?
Sure.
Which one was that before
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, so it's basically in a doesn't have any versions state for the August 18th meeting and the August 11th one as well.
So I just hit save version. Should
Yeah.
then I should be able to see it, yeah.
Okay.
one. It's working. All right, click another page.
So that now, well, I don't know, has a V1 on it. I feel like if there's if it's a public project, I feel like also drafts should be public, and that's like one of the things that the sort of advanced publishing mode that we're talking about allows you to draft in private, but then you have to take more action in actually making things public.
Cool.
That's certainly been on my mind a lot.
Yeah, and then being able to organize that tree a bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's one thing we're thinking about is like having views or things which aren't documents, but they're a view on the project or a container, sort of. Because the gallery view might come back there, where you could add a gallery view that would be a bit like what you had in the project page, but then it's available here.
Yeah.
So you can decide whether you want to add a gallery view or not. So then adding a folder for August, and even auto filtering and adding the items that have the August data. Could do things like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Was Zoom filtering out that siren?
No, it just sounded like a squeaky toy for a while, and then it came on properly.
Sorry. This is the joy of living 2 seconds off like a main street. I'm
Yeah,
not used to this whole city life thing, so but I just
Yeah.
open windows.
I just noticed Alistair added these things to his project because they popped up here on the nav.
Oh, like while you were.
Yeah,
Oh, so just
So
the
ground
that-
penetrating radar, but I don't think it's
18?
resolved. It hasn't resolved that yet.
oh, maybe he's
He's still
in
working
the
on it, I
progress.
think.
That's right.
But it just made me think, though, that these are notebooks. These two
Yeah.
are notebooks. So, like you were saying, I would really want. I think it is useful to have maybe a notebook symbol here.
I guess I don't know, I guess I feel like I would want it on the left side,
Hmm.
just because with those longer titles, they kind of run off.
Yeah. We
Some of
sort of
them might
stick
be like-
this thing. Yeah, it looks like the space there, but that's this little thing comes in.
I mean, you could still just slide it, like put it next to it, so you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, we could leave a gutter there for it.
Because then that's also where you could have one that is like a little folder, just so you know this doesn't actually have any content. It's just a folder. Once that's something.
Hmm.
Once that feature is there, words are hard.
Yeah, yeah, we might have to allow for that. There's something anyway to highlight that it's not good. I think it's gonna be useful. What else happened last week? We're making loads of changes. It's just like loads of changes are happening, but then the surface, the app is sort of staying still for a while. So yeah, until the end of the month, I guess, and then we will get back to more features. I've got this huge journal in
The MDPI.
the MDPI.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a huge LaTeX template that it supports 300 different journals apparently, which is just a crazy amount. So that was a good one to add though, because it really pushed the boundaries on the customization options that we were considering. So I've extended the schema a bit to handle a few extra things. So when we put user options in now, hopefully that will be enough types of option to support anything, even the SEG one and AGU and things like that. I think are small by comparison. I haven't done the SEG one yet, just because it scares me slightly. I think that they haven't just given a simple template. They seem to have gone about it in a completely different way. and I haven't really got into it yet.
Probably because it's not necessarily official.
I don't know. They've got a whole GitHub repo and sort of code generating stuff as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a class. It's like a LaTeX class, actually.
Is it just related to? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it's just related to class, we can deal with it.
And there's like certain things like, okay, this is the abstract section. Mostly it's just that it's a LaTeX class.
That should be all right then. There was just something about the way they described it or the documentation.
Yeah,
They've gone about
call
it
it-
differently.
they call it
SegTech.
SEG tech, SegTech, yeah. Which I don't think that's actually. what
Well, let's
it,
hope they've not started their own sub language.
Yeah.
Just
I
for the
mean-
SEG. Yeah.
Isn't, well, Multiplot isn't everywhere.
Well, that's a
That's
SEG.
that's part of SEG. So that is its own problem.
Multiplot.
Yeah, so you can, normally you would just say like,
They provided like simple plotting commands for like.
so instead of like include graphics, you actually just can put like /plot or /multiplot. And so it's like an all one line thing, which is super convenient until you stop using their template and you go somewhere else and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah, we
I
can
can
handle.
understand why this one's a bit of a struggle. So they've kind of done
Yeah,
what they wanted.
Fortunately, you don't have to use it.
True, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually it is. It's not nearly as bad as that sort of thing.
No. I think it's almost easier that it's a class file.
Yeah. And they've given a whole bunch of examples, I think, of it. Just, yeah. Yeah, it's just a matter of picking through it. So there's actually multiple templates in here as well, then, for the different things. There's SEG. What's CWP?
This is
It's a research group. Actually, at Lines, it's not important to do that one. Not saying they're not.
The
important.
Center for Wave Phenomenon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is just, it's basically maintained by people there and in
SE
other places.
Yeah, and SEP is obviously the Stanford Exploration Project.
So
Yeah.
they
And
just have
UT,
one.
It's like a-
University of Texas,
Uh,
Austin, is it?
Yeah.
It's Sergi Formal. Yeah.
I was like, that's
I was like, basically that group or those few groups, folks from there have been keeping this up. So hence why it's official but not official. So
yeah.
it's not really
Yeah, I get
by SEG, but they just have their Word template, which
I love that all of like the Madagascar programs start with SF.
okay.
He swears it's not because it's these names are great.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
He swears it's not because of that.
Anyway. So talking about all this like exporting stuff, is there any way to simply export a diff between two versions?
That'd be helpful.
Because that's definitely, I was trying to think of stuff that I hate about LaTeX, and that is one of the things. The fact that you have to run LaTeX diff and then compile your paper again. And that is a nightmare because most of the time it throws a ton of errors because depending on how you made the changes. Also, like if you changed part of an equation, it can't handle that.
Really, it can.
It can, but it's terrible. So that would be really, really cool down the line.
What is the result of that process? It's a diff with just the changes. What's
So
a
it
diff?
basically, it like crosses out stuff and underlines other things.
Okay. Okay, so it's going to have both. It's going to be a bit like suggest changes. It's going to have both full sets of content, but with markup showing what's gone out and what's come in.
And that's required by I feel like at least several journals. Like when you submit a revision for your paper, you have to submit a diff file so that reviewers and the editors can see what's actually been changed. So, and I mean, I feel like I made those all the time in general, just to when people were reviewing. So.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Because I think that's something that we're in a pretty good position to handle, just because we have a structured schema that you can compare forward and backwards to, whereas just LaTeX is not going to do a good job at, or well, I don't know, it's going to be a lot harder with freeform LaTeX.
Yeah, it's a I'd say it's a general nightmare, just because it's not the worst, but the minute you do it, it's a mess. There's always errors and you're trying to figure out what it randomly threw into your tech file, and you're digging through it, and I don't like looking at those files. So
yeah, totally.
Some way to put that together would be really cool.
What's it? Do you actually give it to LaTeX files? Is that
Mm-hmm.
Is that the idea?
Yeah, so it's just like a command line thing, but give it 2 tech files and give it a new one to name it, and it rewrites it in there.
And does it work with the other classes as well? Like you do that inside of like the SEG template or something?
So basically you'll have 2 tech files, and then it'll take the diff of them and make a new tech file using all that other stuff from before. And then you have to open that up and run it with all your class files and everything else that you need and dependencies. And I think then that creates that PDF with all those annotations in it, which sometimes works. And other times you do have to kind of play with stuff because it's not perfect.
I don't think it always catches stuff in like the preamble. Like if you change random text stuff in the preamble. But it catches most everything in the main body, like in a document, like abstract.
Yeah. Which is what you want. I mean, if you've gone and hacked around with some of the LaTeX definitions or commands, you don't really want that. It's the content. But I mean, it's the content diff that you're after, and the rest just gets in the way. So we've got the potential to either use the LaTeX tool to do it, or the other way around is actually work on diffing the content and construct the diffed LaTeX ourselves.
Yeah.
Which might sidestep a whole bunch of the problems, you know?
Yeah. And I guess I don't think I'd ever use the diff tech file if I could just get the PDF out or just see it even just on the page. Obviously you guys are going to look into the diff and stuff on the page, but to submit it, like I never want the tech file. All I need is the PDF to submit, just say, yes, I know I made the changes here. So to not have, like, to be able to totally skip that step would be amazing.
Yeah. And just button click to a diff PDF.
Yeah. And you can even put in like which versions you want to diff for whatever reason. Because I know I'll make like I'll have potentially 3 different drafts in between my former submission and my new submission. So.
Exactly. In Curvenote, you got multiple versions, and you need to tag that one as Rev 1 to journal, Rev 2, and then
Yeah, this was something also that was, I know that Ryan Abernathy was asking for this, and he was complaining he uses Overleaf for a bunch of his stuff, and they can't do that on, or they don't do that, I suppose, on Overleaf, and that's something that he's wanting to do, and it's just like a difficult well, it's frustrating and difficult and takes forever and is annoying. And a whole bunch of people are doing it.
It just, I mean, it makes your tech file so much bigger because you have double the content in some areas. Like a sentence is now written twice. And so what already took 20 minutes to load takes even longer. And then it just errors and you're like, yeah. That's not my least favorite part of submitting a paper. No, not at all. That and reviewer too.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just, that would be, it seems like something Curvenote could, should, would do, and it would be, I think, a big game.
A really useful feature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, that's awesome.
Just internally, like I'm constantly like, what did I change? Or what did my, co-author change? Like, did you actually rewrite this? Did I write this? Yeah. Anyway.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm very excited to get back to feature land outside of product marketing land. It's cool.
Great. Should we call it?
Yeah.
In the evening,
Thanks for coming, Joe. It was fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to see you. Okay. We'll
Awesome.
see you all next time.
See you next week.